Welcome back to another video, folks. I've got a lot of completed American infantry and heavy weapon teams for you here. It's been a long time since I painted any Americans. The last thing I did was winter uniforms. Most of these guys are from the standard US Infantry Company box set. I'll start down here because these guys are just a separate little platoon. This is a mortar platoon, standard mortar blister. But as it's now version 4, I've used command figures on one of the bases, so it's clearly definable what base is the command base, because there's no longer the command figure for gun teams. So that's a standard mortar platoon with the option of up to six mortars, because it's the go-to weapon now for digging out infantry and guns. Now the next unit I've got here is a heavy weapons platoon, and this would be made up from the sprues in the plastic box set. You can see there's 4 LNG teams and 3 mortars, and I've placed a couple of command figures on these bases as well, just so that you've got some options. You may want to have a particular command figure if you want to deploy these as a platoon, or you could, for instance, deploy these as a small mortar platoon and have got a command figure for the practicalities of knowing who's what on the battlefield. So then we've got 2 companies of infantry. Now, in order to give the option of using these as armoured rifles, if you had separate half tracks, I've painted 5 bazookas. Now, the infantry platoons, that's 5 bazookas for each platoon, and the infantry platoons have all got a coloured dot, black and white, basically on the reverse, which matches the dots on the back of these bazookas, so you can easily tell what platoon is what. Now, there's a company command at the back with the standard 2 bazookas, and they have got separate coloured dots on the back, red on the reverse of them, so that they're discernible as company HQ elements. So there's quite a lot of painting in this box set. You'll notice that I've varied the tunic colours for the Americans here. I quite like them being worn and different, faded. It reflects what you see a lot of the time in the movies, and whilst the movies might not be accurate, it's still quite a nice feature to roll out across the unit. Because it's such a big force, it adds a bit of variety. Now these are plastic in the main, apart from the mortar platoon I showed first, and I found them to be really quite well sculpted. There's the usual kind of issues around the sides, where features kind of get drawn out towards the midpoint of where the mould comes together. The back of the helmets, for instance, on the light machine gun crew can be quite bad for that. There's one, the guy firing the LMG looks as though he's actually got a big flap coming down from the back of his helmet. Oh, excuse me. But generally speaking, they're very, very good, very easy to paint. I think if you were washing and dry brushing, for instance, you would be able to find the shade and the highlights very easily, much more easily than on a metal figure, where the sculpting is going to be a bit softer. So there's a lot of work. I quite enjoyed painting these guys. I think it's really quite an attractive force. I've put various bits of tree and stump on the bases for a nice simple bit of terrain, but it helps unify the company platoons and weapon platoon. So there you go. A hell of a lot of Yanks.